Welcome, guys. I'm joined by Shannon Ryan. Shannon is a football and basketball reporter for the Chicago Tribune, and this is her first time winning the award. So, congratulations, Shannon, and thank you for joining us on this interview.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, Shannon, what was your career path like on your way to where you are now in your current position? Did you always know you wanted to be a part of the sports media industry?
Yeah, growing up, I always really loved sports and I always loved writing, even creative writing. So I think, then when you get into high school and, doing more of that, but then really in college, I covered a lot of Notre Dame sports and Notre Dame football and kind of saw people from the Chicago Tribune coming and covering those and thought, oh, that'd be really cool. And
Yeah.
then, after college at St. Mary's College in Indiana, I went to the Philadelphia Inquirer, and it was a great place to start. I covered high school sports, but it's just just like Chicago, it's just a city that really loves its sports teams and just obsesses over them, and it's like religion to them. So people really care about what you're writing, and they let you know. So
Right.
it was a great place to start out, and then came to Chicago about 8 years after being in Philadelphia.
Awesome. And what would you consider to be your favorite part of your job right now?
I think, it's always been just finding kind of unique story angles, things no one's told before, or telling someone's story that people are, kind of know, or maybe interested in, or maybe never even heard of. And then
Right.
you find out something really interesting about them that everybody can relate to, or everybody finds inspiring. To me, that's just, it's finding the stories kind of away from the competition or what drives this person, that I really enjoy telling those.
Awesome. And now this next question could be something tangible or intangible, but what would you consider to be the greatest or your greatest achievement thus far in your career?
Oh, that's hard. I never
Yeah.
really think about it in terms of that, because I think for one thing, we're just like all of us in this business, we're just so in the grind of like, you write something and move
Right.
on to the next thing you write.
Right.
And yeah, I think for me, maybe something I feel like it's an achievement though is, just really pushing myself to find stories when I think during COVID, and not just saying, well, there's no sports, there's nothing to do, and just
Right.
finding that this was very relatable still to sport, like how it was affecting the sports world, and finding even with things going on in the summer and before that with social racial justice issues and how that kind of intertwines with sports. I don't know if that's an achievement, but I feel like for me, I enjoy that, or I feel like it's fulfilling to me.
Yeah, and that brings up an interesting point with the whole COVID situation. How has your job changed since the COVID pandemic? What has been the biggest you know um, transition for you?
Yeah, like everybody, I think in the world, Zoom is a big part of life, as we're
Right.
talking here on Zoom. But um, yeah, I think it's just been challenging. There's a lot less travel for me. Most of the games I'm trying to, be safe for me and for everybody else, and
Right.
trying to limit that, and just, there's times that call for it. But yeah, that part makes it really different and challenging, to try to find stories when everybody's getting the same thing over Zoom, pretty much all the reporters. So
Right.
that part's been really different. I can't wait to, be more all the time in person, and having that access and availability to make those connections. But there's ways to do it. It's not impossible, and just,
Right.
finding different ways to write stories and finding out what's important to people. You can do that outside of the traditional means, but it is more challenging.
Of course, yeah. Um, so Shannon, for someone who's thinking about getting in, or people who are new to the sports media industry, what's the best piece of advice you could give those people?
Yeah, I think for me, and I was just having this conversation with a journalism class recently, it's, there's a lot of great ways to start in this business. And I think people now coming into it are way better off than I was. Because everyone has the younger people now they know how to do video. They know,
Right.
asset of social media, things I had to adjust to. They come in already knowing that.
No, yeah.
I think there's still this idea, I think, for me, just, I'd start out covering high school sports, and I think to me that was so valuable, and I learned so much, and you had to be really resourceful and figure out how to contact people and come up with your own ideas all the time. And I just think, don't feel like you're about, there's stories everywhere. You don't have to be covering a national championship team to be to have a fulfilling job or to tell good stories. That no matter what outlet you're at or what you're covering, you can find fulfillment. You can find good stories. They're everywhere. It's not just, with the Super Bowl champs.
Right. Of course. Awesome. And so those are all the questions I have for you, Shannon. If you want to shout out anyone or leave us with any closing remarks, you could go ahead and do that now.
Oh, no, I'm thankful to win this award. There've been a lot of great predecessors before me. And I think about a lot of the women in Illinois media, especially, who are probably deserving and who really paved a great path for women in the industry now. That it seems pretty normal now for a woman to be interviewing an athlete, and that wasn't always the case. So, I'm always really thankful to the generations of women who really had to almost literally bust down locker room doors
Right.
to make it easy for me.
Right. Well, thank you again, Shannon, and congratulations again on winning this award. It was great, and it was a pleasure to meet you.
And our whole Zoom worked. It was
Yeah,
great.
exactly. And our Zoom, me and Shannon had a few mishaps via Zoom, but we got it done, and it was great. So thank you,
Thanks so
Shannon.
much.